What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys NCL Season 3, Week 3, taking on Jamezy and the Crystal Palkia. It's going to be a difficult matchup. I said this in the team builder quite a bit, but I don't really have great defensive answers to his team, just because of the way that his team is built. It's very hyper offense, and um, a lot of my bulkier mons just can't eat the hits that well, just because of the power output that they have. Things like Darmanitan, which we see on the screen. Mimikyu, I didn't really have an answer to, like, actually at all. Um, Drampa was a problem, Mega Gardevoir was a problem, so was Nihilego. Like, I just named Kartana, Zeraora, both, all of it is just problems. Like, the only things I really felt I had in check were the Gliscor, the Alolan Persian, and the Hitmonchan. Actually, no, I did say I had the Drampa in check too. Yeah, so the Drampa, the Persian, the Gliscor, and the Hitmonchan, none of which came. So I'm very scared about how this matchup's going to go because I just don't have answers to these things. So that was kind of the idea with that. Yeah. So if you let's run through his team actually. Kartana, Zeraora, Araquanid, Darmanitan, Alolan Persian, Drampa, Mega Gardevoir, Gliscor, Nihilego, Hitmonchan, Mimikyu. I'm really happy to not see the Mimikyu. Mimikyu would have just run my ass. Like the only thing I had for it was Diggersby, and is that even anything that I have for it? Not really. So yeah, Mimikyu is super scary. Super duper duper scary. Alright, first up on our side here, if you haven't seen the team builder, check it out, but I'm running Bandidente. He doesn't have the best switch-ins to Bandidente, like they kind of just don't exist. Like Banded Sacred Fire does half to everything except physically defensive Araquanid. I've got Bulldoze on there for speed control over Stomping Tantrum, and I think that it'll help out. This team is like pretty weak to ground, just besides the Araquanid. It's a very ground weak team considering you didn't bring Gliscor. So I think Bulldoze is like really good coverage, and again, speed control. It's really nice to have the speed control if I can catch something switching in with Bulldoze. I don't know, like the Kartana in particular. Bronzong, I'm fully specially defensive with leftovers. I'm heat proof. Actually, I changed it from levitate to heat proof. I decided I didn't give a crap about being hit by Earthquake from Darmanitan, and I'd rather be heat proof for things like Fire Blast from Drampa. Otherwise, I can't wall the Drampa at all. And things like random HP fires thrown around, things like that. And I thought I could tank a Flare Blitz a little bit better. Turns out, based on the calc, that I can't still. It's not going to OHKO me, but it's still a hell of a lot of damage, and I don't really do a whole lot back. So, best case scenario, I get up rocks and die, I guess. I'm Flyinium Z Tornadus-Therian, which has a pretty decent matchup. His flying resists are Zeraora and Nihilego, neither of which really took a Z Hurricane. Just going off the calc, it does like half to each of them. And then Z Hurricane like blows through everything else in the team. Heat Wave and Icy Wind is tech moves there. Icy Wind was there for the Gliscor and for some speed control. Heat Wave is there for the Kartana. And then I've got U-Turn as well. I'm physically defensive Conkeldurr with Iron Fist, Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Knock Off Ice Punch. The goal is that this is my Kartana answer, like 100% of the time. And that's about it, really. It can like Mach Punch deals with it's a Zeraora check as well for like random Plasma Fists coming off and things like that. And it can eat Darmanitan hits. It kind of can. It's pretty sad that my best defensive check to a Darmanitan is Conkeldurr, but that's what I have to do because everything else kind of sucked ass. I could have brought like Mega Latias, but then it just U-turns on me. Diancie, it just Earthquakes. Tentacruel, just Earthquakes. So like I really just didn't have a defensive matchup against that Mon this week, and so you're going to see that in full force here. I am Life Orb, Agility, 3 attacks, Diggersby with Quick Attack, Return, and Earthquake. And that's the Diggersby set there. Pretty solid Diggersby set. It's really good cleaner late game. I just need a little bit of chip on the Kartana for Earthquake to kill it, and depending on the Araquanid set, I may need a little bit or a lot of chip. And then Whimsicott, I'm running Memento, Encore, Moonblast, and Defog. I changed the setup from a Subseed set, which I'm a little bit regretting because I do think that a Subseed set could put in a lot of work against this team. Just looking at it, I was not really scared of anything in particular because Moonblast is still doing like 30%, 30-odd% to the Kartana. And so if I'm behind a sub, I get a hit off for free, and then we can find out from there by switching to Conkeldurr and things like that. Yeah, Subseed just looks really good here with no Sapsip or Drampa either. So a little bit sad that I didn't bring the Subseed, but hopefully the Memento will be able to put my Diggersby into a spot where I can sweep. So I am just going to lead with what do I lead with? I think I lead with Tornadus just because I thought I could get a big U-turn off, and it sort of slipped my mind that he might lead Darmanitan. I think this was a mistake on my part. Realistically, I think I probably should have just led Bronzong, but looking at my options, there's no really a good lead option against Darmanitan, so he picked a really good lead, and I have to switch here because Flare-Blitz is doing a minimum of 100% to my bulk. U-turn was a really good play on his part. I could have slow U-turned out, but in comes the Arachnid, and then he's going to scout for the Stone Edge with Kartana, which is a really good play on his part. We see the Kartana is basically no bulk based on taking on Stone Edge. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to just like blow through the Arachnid because it's possibly one of the things stopping my Diggersby. At this range, the Kartana is now in range of Earthquake from Diggersby, so I'm very happy with that because it means now 5 Mons are guaranteed within range of my Diggersby. The Zeraora, the Darmanitan, the Kartana, the Nihilego, and the Mega Gardevoir are all in range of my Diggersby after an agility, so all I need to do is scout out the Arachnid set and go from there. I am going to switch here, even though I should have probably just gone for Stone Edge. I was scared of a knockoff, and I went into Conk, and then I don't want my Conk taking extra damage from the Arachnid when it's my Kartana Zeraora check, so I went into Whimsicott here as he shows the Reflect. I make a bad read here, and I go for the Encore instead of clicking Defog, which I think was bad, because Darmanitan just came in for free as I tried to Encore the Arachnid into setting up Reflect. I guess it probably didn't have webs, which makes sense because I have, you know, double levitators and a flying type. Sorry, triple levitators and a flying type, and Tentacruel can clear body spin them away. So I definitely agree with him not having webs. Diancie has clear body too, so I'm not affected. Unlike the rest of my team doesn't give a crap. Whimsicott's Prankster, so yeah, webs don't really do a whole lot against my team, especially when you're expecting like Banded Entei. So yeah, that exists. Okay, in comes my Entei on the Darmanitan here. This is my only way to eat a Flare Blitz, really. And then I am going to bluff the Stone Edge and click Bulldoze here. And I get to pick off the Nihilego pretty early, which is pretty great. I would imagine he went into Nihilego either predicting the Stone Edge or the Sacred Fire, just in case I went for Sacred Fire that time, because it would have eaten behind the Reflect. But Bulldoze still kills it behind Reflect, because it's got paper-thin physical defense, and it is... it's a 4x super effective move. So despite the low base power, I am banded with the Bulldoze there. So managed to pick it off pretty cleanly. I'm actually probably going to have to do something about this cropping, because I really would rather have the cropping a little bit differently on this layout. So I'll look into that after this match and get it ready for our week 4 match, I think. But yeah, so picking off the Nihilego is pretty strong. I was convinced that Nihilego was going to come in as a revenge killer against my Entei before. Like, I was convinced Nihilego, I can't remember where. Never mind, I can't remember. Oh, on the Whimsicott, I was convinced the Nihilego was coming in on that, but there you go. So now the Kartana gets to come in, and obviously he's switching in on Bulldoze, so it's a pretty free substitute for him, which is, you know, not as much of a free substitute when I can go into Conk and Mach Punch it for free. He's just going to scout out the damage, and he's going to take some good Rocky Helmet chip. I opted to knock off here. There was no reason for me to Mach Punch when Gardevoir was such a very easy switch in, so Ice Punch would have actually been the play, but Ice Punch wasn't killing the Kartana if he stayed in. I guess it was probably a better play to just Ice Punch though, and now I have to switch Conk out as he brings Kartana back in. So he's making a lot of really aggressive doubles and catches my Bronzong here with the Z Night Slash, which is going to kill it unfortunately. In game, I thought that was Z knockoff, which was a fat roll to kill my Bronzong. I actually could have EV'd to live Z Night Slash. Had I moved some of my investment from Spidef into defense, I would have been able to live that, and obviously we came in on each of us doubling, so I clicked HP Fire, and I could have just been done with this Kartana right away, which would have made Conkeldur's job a hell of a lot easier, because then it limits it to 2 checks that it has to deal with. Sorry. So a bit of a prep mistake there on my part, not trying to EV to live Z Night Slash. I did take into account Z knockoff, but I totally forgot this thing got Night Slash. So now I'm going to deal with this by going to my Torn. Pretty free Heat Wave, and the Zeraora comes in, and we get to scout out what the Zeraora is. So based on Heat Wave doing basically 0, because I'm very offensive Tornadus, this is a max HP Assault Vest Zeraora with some Spadef investment. It's not entirely in there. The problem I'm having here is that if he's Adamant Max Attack, Plasma Fists kills me. So I don't know what the hell Torn's doing with no bulk. Like, this thing is just actually super weak when it dies to just Plasma Fist from Zero Aura, but I'm just going to my Whimsicott here. We eat that knockoff for days. I'm perfectly okay with that, and then I'm going to go for a Moonblast. Gives me some chip on the Darmanitan. That's probably the best switch in for sure. And then I'm going to bring in my Entei here. This is a roll to kill me, and he gets it. Otherwise, if he didn't get the roll, I was going to click Extreme Speed. Banded Extreme Speed picked off the Kartana from that range. It would have been clean chip against the Araquanid, which is all that I needed for my Diggersby to set up and win. And Banded Extreme Speed would have picked off the Gardevoir from that range. In theory, it should have picked off the Gardevoir from that range, and it should have picked off the Zera Aura. Or it should have at least chunked the Zera Aura. So I'm a little bit sad that I didn't have that there, but Conk gets to come in, I eat that, and then I'm going to knock off the Araquanid. Getting some clutch chip. Unfortunately, this Araquanid is like almost entirely physically defensive, and it's probably Resto Chesto based on the Chesto Bear that we just knocked off. So I still need a little bit. I thought that this was all the chip I needed for Diggersby. I still need a little bit more chip. That's quite unfortunate, but I'm going to bring in my Whimsicott here, ready to defog away this Reflect. As the Kartana comes in, I actually don't agree with that play. I really think he should have gone Darmanitan, and now he's done that for some reason, probably on my Encore, thinking he could get in for free, but I'm faster, and Moonblast kills this from this range. So he's going to go back into Araquanid instead of the Darmanitan again, and gives me the chip that Diggersby needs to kill this with Return now. So now my game plan is get my... I don't know why I switched, by the way, on the Araquanid there. I should have gone for another Moonblast and then defogged the Reflect away afterwards. That was really bad. Me going into Tornadus was really bad. I guess I threatened it with the Z, with Fly Z. And I got a U-turn off on the Kartana here, which lets me bring in the Whimsicott. And then I double into my Conkeldurr because I'm like, well, that's dumb. Why would I go into Whimsicott here? I mean, I should have just Moonblasted and killed this thing, but I'm trying to burn turns of Reflect at the same time. So, actually, I think that's probably where things start to go downhill at the moment, is when I decided not to go for the Moonblast here and double into Torn on the Araquanid when I could have got more chip on it, which would have been very, 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 very helpful. Or, no, yeah, that's what I should have done, because Reflect is a big problem. Reflect is stopping my Diggersby from sweeping right now. It's the only thing stopping my Diggersby from sweeping right now. Obviously, Conk eats this Kartana hit for breakfast, and then I'm actually just going to opt to pick off my kill instead of going for a fancy prediction. Gardevoir comes in. I'm okay with this. I clicked knockoff for some chip in case he want. Sorry, I clicked Ice Punch because it was a roll to break the sub, and now we've stalled out the turns to Reflect here. I actually think Torn was probably my play, but I got a little bit greedy here, and I'm going for the Diggersby sweep, so I'm Memento on the Gardevoir. This was really bad. If he went for sub here, it would have been horrible. Diggersby comes in, I Agility, and here's the Tech, and where we lose is the Will-O-Wisp on my Diggersby. So that really sucks. I'm just going to go for Return, just try and get as much chip off as I can. Darmanitan beats me at this point. I know that for sure. We're going to pick off the Zero Aura, and then the Gardevoir is going to come in. I was actually calcing with Reflect, and I was like, well, I guess I lose right here, but he doesn't have any EVs, and the Reflect mattered quite a bit there, actually. So now Araquanid comes in. He thought a lot about that play. If I crit here, by the way, I win. I don't crit, but and he gets to kill me with Liquidation. But I just want to pause it and talk about this play that he made. He thought a lot about what to go into here. He made the correct decision going into Araquanid. If he went into Darmanitan, he choked hard and he lost the game right there, because that means I get to, because Return kills the Darmanitan from this range, regardless of me being burned or not at 50%. So that was a hard choke if he went Darmanitan. He didn't choke, he went into the Araquanid. Even if he went Darmanitan to scout for the Earthquake and went into the Araquanid, I'm 100% clicking Return there. So, or even Quick Attack, which then puts the Araquanid in range for a burned Return. So that was definitely a big, that would have been a huge choke, and Diggersby would have been able to clean for me there, but unfortunately it doesn't happen that way. I'm just going to go into Torn. I know I have to hit a raw Hurricane at some point here, so I'm just going to pick off my differential here and go for the Z on the Araquanid instead. And then Darmanitan comes in, and he's going to get the roll, which wasn't a roll at all because it was always killing me. So there you go. We take the 1-0 loss to Jamezy and the Crystal Palkia. Division loss, which really sucks because losing to your divisional opponents means that it's harder for you to eclipse them later to get into playoffs. I didn't have a matchup here. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I think I talked about this in the team builder too. I just didn't. What did I have defensively for anything, right? And Megalodios got cucked. I wanted to bring like sub Megalodios because it could set up Calm Minds on certain things, and Psyshock just like obliterated half this team. But you know, like Mimikyu standing in the way of it was a big issue. Double Hyper Voice users, especially Meg Gardevoir. Like, I've gone up against 2 Pixelate Hyper Voice users already this season, and it's just, yeah, you know, Megalodios just doesn't have matchups against Pixelate Hyper Voice because I can't run sub, and I would have loved to have run, you know, Megalodios would have been, I would have loved to have run Megalodios just as a Darmanitan answer as well, but it's just not gonna, you know, I can't eat those hits very well. And what would I have taken out instead? Probably Whimsicott, I guess. So then I'm running Defog on Megalodios, and just it puts a lot more pressure on my team. So I do think that I brought the correct team. I don't think that I could have brought anything better. And, you know, just GG's to Jamezy. He played really well. The Will-O-Wisp tech really got me. That's actually what won him the game, was the Will-O-Wisp tech there, because otherwise my Memento into Diggersby strat just, like, clean swept him. And so burning me was pretty clutch. Had I got a crit on the Araquanid, you know, different game. Had I got the roll on the Darmanitan into Entei there, probably a different game, you know. So lots of things to think about there. But yeah, that's going to be from me, guys. And I will catch you guys for our Week 4 match where we take on Magic in the Snowpoint City Blizzard.